This program was made possible in part by
The sound of these bees is the sound of a safe environment and of an important source of safe, affordable food. Honey is a specialty crop produced in our state that is created from plants in our area. Mississippi beekeepers provide a safe, abundant, and affordable supply of honey to homes and restaurants statewide, while byproducts are used in soaps and other skincare products. Support Mississippi beekeepers. Buy locally produced honey. The farm families of Mississippi.
Mississippi Seafood Marketing, a division of the Department of Marine Resources. From our waters to your table. Fresh, local, healthy. Information available at dmr.ms.gov.
Well, hello. I'm Chef Rob Stinson, and this is Fit to Eat, a new series about eating healthy and living better. Today we're making marinated goat chops. The use of goat meat is a growing trend in Mississippi, and it's becoming prevalent in many local farmers' markets. I like to use goat meat when hosting dinner parties because the guests are always surprised by the flavor. I think they're surprised just that you'd be crazy enough to serve it. And you know, it's so prevalent now that I love using goat meat versus beef or lamb. And when you look at these beautiful little chops, they've got great flavor, and it's about a 5-ounce portion of the meat itself. And that's one of the things that we're hoping to accomplish in this show, is to really teach everyone we need to eat smaller portion sizes and put those with great flavor so you don't feel that you've sacrificed anything. So the best way, in my opinion, to make goat a little more edible is to marinate it. And oftentimes people will take beef, if they're marinating it, throw it into a large bowl of oil, and all that beef does is soak up all that oil, and it actually is soaking up a lot of fat. So we're going to start off today and show a healthy marinade that every one of you can use. So let's go ahead and place a bowl here in the center. You're going to kind of laugh at the very first ingredient. And, you know, as we're doing all these different recipes, it's a lot to remember. Go to the website, mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat. mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat, that's me, and you'll get these recipes. So let's go ahead, add that orange juice in. That's actually fresh squeezed orange juice, great flavor, and it's the base of the marinade. To that we're going to add about a teaspoon, just a hair, okay, of olive oil, all right? A little bit of fresh minced garlic and coriander, ground coriander. Coriander is a wonderful flavor, and it looks like there's quite a bit in there. Actually gives it the flavor that we want and helps with the gaminess that this goat may actually have. Now, we're going to mix that thoroughly. And you'll notice the marinade almost turns a light brown from the coriander. Place those goat chops into that marinade. And the trick at this point, turn them so all of the meat tenderloin portion that's on those little goat chops is submerged. Now, you're going to want to take that and actually place that in your refrigerator. And it's really, really helpful if you can do this the day ahead. Not essential. I mean, at least an hour, and you'll get a great effect. And it makes a big difference. So let's move these off to the side. We'll hold them in back. And one of the beauties of being able to do this ahead, I'm going to pull out the product that has been marinated. And as you look, you can see that it's actually changed the color of that goat meat itself. Okay? So let's put those on the side just for the time being. We'll move all of this out of the way. And we're going to actually get ready at this point and do our caramelized onions. So caramelized onions are going to go directly on top. And I wanted to actually show, I mean, there's a lot of different things that as you start cooking and watching this series, I want you to think about how to blend flavor with some of this food that's healthier so you don't feel that you've sacrificed. And in this, we're going to actually, in these light caramelized onions, add a little cayenne pepper, a little black pepper, garlic, and we're going to use very little oil. So let's go ahead and we're going to get a pan hot. There's a trick when you caramelize onions, and I find it's easy if you bring the heat up gently on the onion. Now, in this, we're going to use about a half of a teaspoon of oil. That's not much. So you're going to put it onto the pan first, and you're going to let that, as it gets hot, coat the pan. And that way, when you go to put your onions in, it won't stick. But you've actually created a wonderful little base. Now we're going to take the cracked black pepper and put about half of it in that oil. And again, what that does is keep your onions from sticking to the pan, because you want to almost gently saute them. Place them in the pan and add the garlic on top. Why you put the garlic on top is it will be the one that will naturally brown the quickest. So you don't want to go ahead and throw it in and put it on the base. Burned garlic has a bitterness. Brown garlic opens up the aromatic quality of the garlic. And I tell you what, anybody who has ever been to my house, who has ever eaten at a dinner party, knows that I love garlic. I mean, there's no two ways around it. Now, let's go ahead and touch this cayenne pepper. Now, you don't want to put too much. I say a pinch. I like to just see a nice little sprinkle, and you're gently placing that into that solution because you really want to be careful. Cayenne pepper is actually very spicy. Now, you notice we saved a little bit of the black pepper, and we're going to go ahead and place that on top of the onions now. And we've got all those wonderful flavors working with those onions, and that's great. Now, the key when you're caramelizing onions is you're moving them around in the pan, break up all those little julienne onions. And we're going to be using onions with the spinach salad that's going to be coming along with this. And again, I'll keep reminding you, mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat, that's me. Every one of these recipes, I know we go through a lot. And, you know, I was talking to some friends at my house the other day, and we were cooking a healthy meal. And one of the things that everybody seemed to say unanimously was they're scared to blend seasoning with food if they don't really know the recipe. Everybody can make an old gumbo if they've got their recipe. Some of the healthier cooking, you really can take a lot out of what we're doing on the air by seeing a simple blend of black pepper, cayenne pepper, garlic, and onion. What an incredible way to flavor in a light, lean meat that you have in goat. So, a lot of fun there. All right, now we're just going to kind of gently move those. And this heat we don't want on high. And easy as you go with the caramelized onions to get them so they don't stick, a little bit of water. A little bit of water. Wonderful way to lift them off the base. And I add it as I go, just a little touch. When I was in Italy, the chef called it his troca. And those were these little tricks that he would throw in and not tell anyone. And now you see all those onions will just kind of naturally slide around the plate. And now it's time where we can actually toss them. And as you get a little more familiar with that, you're going to notice we're going to do a lot of cooking on the stovetop. Why? I want to show people that you can do this at your house. You don't need fancy restaurant equipment. You don't need anything other than what you could go to your local superstore and buy. And I wish you could get this aroma that I'm getting right now, because I actually smell that cayenne pepper. A little bit of the garlic, and onions, as they caramelize, get a wonderful sweetness. Now, they're going to take a few minutes to cook. So what we're going to do is kind of switch locations, move those over on the side where they'll just gently start cooking, add a little bit more water into that. And that is just a great, great flavoring. And wow, the aroma that's coming out of there is absolutely incredible. Now, we're going to work on our spinach salad. Let's go ahead and pull out all of our ingredients. And I'm going to kind of go through these because this is where a lot of the flavor comes to. Let's kill that heat just a hair. Just a hair. We just want that onion mixture to gently warm from this point on. Okay, now here we are. Wonderful ingredients. Spinach salad, I love. Now, the classic old school spinach salad has got a warm topping. And in the old days in restaurants, they actually came around and they made it tableside. Today, I don't know, I think there's too many liabilities to actually have a lot of flame in the dining room, so most people don't do it that way. But I love doing a warm spinach salad when I have dinner parties because it gives people kind of the benefit of eating their greens, but with flavors. And it doesn't have that overcooked quality that cooked spinach so often does. So what are we going to use in here? We've got onions. Set all these because I think the colors are so great. We've got a little bit of red and green serrano peppers. We're going to finish with some goat cheese, but first flavoring is going to be garlic, mushrooms, and then we're going to throw a little small portion of bacon, capers, and anyone who has never eaten capers, it adds a natural salt into this salad. You notice that you're not going to see me add salt or sodium in virtually anything we cook. And in my life, I've been told I've got to dramatically cut back on the sodium. I would imagine that there are many, many of you out there who either know that you should or you know that that's something that's coming. So what we're going to try and do when we focus on this show is actually get you away from prepared products that have a lot of sodium and show you you can still have all the flavors that you need. So here we go. Let's take some of this on the side. I want to go through, and one thing that has always been a difficult product to work with for most people is a serrano pepper. Serrano pepper, it's a beautiful spice. Cut the tail end of it off and then slice it in half. And I'm just going to do this briefly to show you how easy this can be done. Now inside every serrano pepper you're going to find all the seeds. And that's nothing that you really want to bite into. If you take the point of your knife, cut it right here on top, it'll naturally pull literally all of those seeds right out. Let's move all this to the side just for a second. And what you're left with is half of the pepper. That was easy. And I promise you that's the other thing that I'm hearing when I host dinner parties at my house is, you know, you make it look easy on TV, Rob. You know, yeah, it's all great. You've got all this stuff all cut and ready. You've got to do your homework, you've got to prepare ahead, and you've got to do what I call your prep work. So in the restaurants, at home, it doesn't matter where you go. Everybody who does these things and they make it look so easy has done a little bit of homework. Now, slicing the serrano pepper lengthwise, simple enough. Turn it, and when you've got it on this side, you got it down now to where perfect, small, very small. And this is a trick I like to use. 2 knives to get those little pieces of pepper. We're not actually going to use any of these, but I thought it was important that you guys could actually see it isn't that tough to do this ahead. Mushrooms, anyone can slice mushrooms. You notice I'm not worried about changing knives. All of these vegetables are going in the same bowl. There's really nothing on here that you'd have any kind of problem with. But let's take an onion very quickly, cut it, remove it, slice it in half, and that's the easiest way to get started with any onion. Move it over to the side. Now you've got your half onion on the cutting board. Start in the right side, knife at an angle, and slice in, keeping your fingers as your guide, because you definitely don't want to make finger sandwiches. Just joking. And what do you have when you're done? Beautiful julienne onions. Look at them all breaking apart. And that's exactly what we did when they hit that pan. We were breaking apart those julienne onions. So we've got all of this fun stuff already made up for you. Let's go ahead and, for the time being, move this out of our way because we actually don't need any of that. All right, so now we're going to actually start on the topping that's going to go into the spinach salad. We've got a pan warm here, and again, as opposed to throwing butter, as opposed to throwing a huge amount of oil, we're going to put about a half of a teaspoon of oil. And everybody's probably out there saying, well, why? If you really take a good look at where the fat content is, a tablespoon is about 12 grams of fat of virtually any oil. Now, olive oil is the best to use. Canola oil is a good close second. I try to use olive oil just because it is the best and it's got wonderful flavors. So we're going to start off now, throw our onions into that. And again, a lot of ingredients, lot to remember. Let's move that off the direct heat for a second. Go to mpbonline.org/fit to eat, that's me again, and you can get this recipe because I know it's a lot to remember. Let's throw in our garlic, our serrano peppers, and actually we've got more than we need, but they're so pretty. I've got red and green, so that we're adding some spice to this. And that's a wonderful way to add in a lot of flavor. Mushrooms. We're going to throw the capers directly in at this point. And then we're going to toss that. Everybody's sitting there going, you make that look easy, huh? Tossing in this isn't really that difficult. The only trick, in the way that I teach anyone who's at my house cooking, is I'll put a piece of toast in that pan and get them to flip that piece of toast over. Now, you're going to notice we didn't add in the cooked bacon. What I did before we started, and it's sitting right here in front so you can see it, is some beautiful, crisp, dried bacon. You know, well, let's say this in a nice way. There's a lot of pig farms in Mississippi. I absolutely love pork. What we're going to try and do in this show is show you that this is a healthier option, so you don't have to give up everything that you love, but you can eat a lot less of it and portion it wisely. That's what we did with the bacon, so we have about a tablespoon of bacon. Let's throw that into the mix. And now we're going to add a squeeze of lemon. The squeeze of lemon is almost the equivalent of putting a little vinegar in a salad dressing. And remember, this is going over spinach, so it's almost a salad of sorts. So squeeze that lemon. And now we're going to turn that heat down. And believe it or not, that topping is virtually ready. Our caramelized onions, we're just going to toss quickly over here. They look perfect. Now we're going to get our pan hot that we're actually going to sear the goat chops in. So let's go ahead and do a little housekeeping here. And what I'm going to do right now, kind of switch gears. We're saving our goat cheese. The goat cheese goes on top of the spinach salad at the tail end. Now what we want to do is remove these goat chops from the marinade. Don't worry if there's little pieces of garlic still on them. That's going to, hey, like I said, you know I love garlic, so all that's going to do is add more flavor. And you see how small they are. They don't take long to cook. They've got a nice thickness to them, which is good, because as small as they were, if they weren't thick, they would cook in no time at all. I love to actually see goat meat being served because it's lower in saturated fat and cholesterol levels than other meats, and it's higher in iron and protein than beef. So think about all of that. Now, we pulled that out of that orange juice marinade. That saved us 200 plus milligrams of sodium versus using, say, a bouillon or a stock that was salted already, or oil, which is even worse for you. So again, incredible flavors. Now, there's only one last step we have before these get cooked. We're going to take them and sprinkle coarse, cracked black pepper on both sides. And it gives it just a great crispness. And remember when we started off early with the caramelized onions, I told you when you add that coarse, cracked black pepper, it keeps it from sticking as well. And you can see how these have marinated so nicely because the colors are so different. I love it. All right. And with this, let's go ahead. That pan is getting warm as we go. Let's go ahead and pop these chops directly in the pan, searing them on each side. We're going to cook them virtually the same as I would lamb. I love my lamb medium rare. Everybody can eat, you know, their beef one temperature. Lamb I've always liked on the rarer side, and goat is very similar. And as you cook it more and more, you'll find that you're going to choose kind of your own method, if you would, as to what temperature that you like to have it complete. So what we're doing while these chops are getting hot, and they will, we're going to start plating a little bit of our base, which is our spinach, that we're going to put directly on the plate. Now, spinach is healthy. You can eat a lot of this. And once it gets warm, it wilts. So it's going to look like you're getting this huge amount of food when it comes to the spinach. And there's a method to that madness. We want you to realize, again, that you're not sacrificing eating healthy here on Fit to Eat. And again, mpbonline.org/Fit to Eat has got all of these recipes so that it won't be that difficult for you to find them. Now, what we're going to do, kick up the temperature on everything, because as we turn these chops, look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. They really do not take long to cook, and that marinade in them gives them such a wonderful flavor that I like to sear them and make sure that we don't overcook them. Boy, they're already, I mean, I can already get that aroma of the coriander that was blended with the orange juice and the garlic in that marinade itself. Now, again, here's what we're going to do. Let's have a little fun with this. Here's our salad base, and look at all that incredible flavoring, warm, that's going to go directly onto your spinach. It's incredible flavors. It's healthy. It's light in oil. And everything in there is something that you can actually enjoy. And we're finished on that side. Now, I love the idea of this because as you mix this meal together, you're going to have so many different flavors. Now, the treat is a little touch of what else would you serve with goat chops but goat cheese. And again, this comes from a local farmer's market, and I just love supporting those local farmer markets. If you haven't been to one, you absolutely need to go, because the product you see at the farmer's market is so much healthier, no pesticides, no preservatives. It's a fantastic way to immediately start eating healthy by buying healthier product on the front end. And I'm so concerned. When I go in the store, guys, and this is what I'd like to tell you, when I'm getting ready to do a dinner party and I'm going into a local store, I look at the labels. Am I buying something local? Is it good local honey? Is it good local product? You want to make sure that you're trying to do everything you can to support your local merchants, and the farmer's market is a wonderful place to start. Find out where they are in your area. So let's take it back, and there they go. Whoo! That's what you're looking for, is that nice blackened searing, because that sealed all the juices in to those goat chops. And these are virtually ready. We're going to go ahead and pull these off. Cut the heat over here on our caramelized onion. Let's take these goat chops and have a little fun arranging them on the side of this plate. And again, remember now, it's really only about 5 ounces of your protein. So this is actually a nice, light, healthy way to eat. Again, virtually oil-free. And these caramelized onions, wow. I mean, I've got a great flavor of them. We're going to set those right on top of those little goat chops so they blend in. And it's almost like eating a wonderful, say, marsala sauce, but incredible flavor. And as you mix all of this together, I guess one of the things that I was looking for in dishes that we can have that healthier aspect is showing why do we do this. It's a lean meat versus beef. It's got virtually no sodium in anything that we made on this recipe. You've got beautiful fresh farmers market spinach, onions, serrano peppers, and garlic. And remember again, I know it's an overload of seasonings, so go to mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat, and you will actually be able to get all the recipes that we've put together here. And I think the fun part on this one is that when your guests see you cooking goat, they're going to be taken back. Don't let that scare you. People think you're crazy until they try it the first time. Once somebody eats one of these beautiful little goat chops, you're going to see them with that bone in their hand, gnawing down to get every little nook and cranny. And that's another good part of this, is it focuses back to the smaller portions, because as you're eating that meat off the bone, it's a little bit less in quantity. It takes a little bit more work. It's fun doing it. It's a talking piece. So you've got all of this going in to a fabulous dish. And you know, I have a lot of fun with it when we're doing things that are a little different. And this one is definitely different with the goat cheese and the goat chops. Remember, again, you know, you can find all of these recipes and the nutritional breakdown of those on the website, mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat. And I'm Chef Rob Stinson. Thanks for watching Fit to Eat, and we're going to bring you a lot more healthy dishes just like this in the near future. So have a little fun with this. Incredible, incredible.
This program was made possible in part by
Mississippi family farms sustain a long, proud tradition that has been handed down for generations. A safe, dependable source for food, fiber, and timber, Mississippi family farmers help feed your family as well as their own. Through best practices and modernization, Mississippi farmers continue to be good stewards of our land and water resources, ensuring a reliable, affordable source of food well into the future. The farm families of Mississippi.
Support for Fit to Eat comes from Mississippi Seafood Marketing, a division of the Department of Marine Resources. From our waters to your table, wild-caught Gulf fresh seafood is fresh, local, and healthy. Information at dmr.ms.gov.